In this video, I'll be breaking down some band progressions you can use for straight arm straddles in aerial silks or any apparatus. First, I want to show you the two ways we will be attaching the band to the fabric. The first being the single point connection, where we loop the band around the fabric, pulling nice and tight. The second way is a little bit more complicated. It was brought to me by my follower Manon. Thank you, Manon. It's the double point connection, where you create the loop first and then you pass the tail in its entirety through that loop that you've made. It can be a little bit hard to create this getting all the fabric through, but it is a really effective way to attach the band to both tails, creating that nice stability for the lats. So the first progression we'll be using is the single point connection on each tail. You want the bands high enough that when you step into them, there's a good amount of tension, but your feet can still reach the ground. You want to bring your hips all the way through and then crochet arms and hands at the top before embarking on your straight arm straddle journey. Because the bands are around your feet, this is taking off some of the work from that lower pelvic abdomen region. So if you have a hard time lifting legs up at all, this is a really good progression for you to use. If this is too challenging, you can always add more resistance, either through a thicker band or, as I'm doing here, with a second band. So I'm going to do that same single point connection on each side directly beneath my first set of bands, and then I'll just be able to set my foot directly into that loop. I'll get some more assistance here with that lower abdomen region for a straight arm straddle. So if that's still too challenging, then we'll move to our next progression, which is to add a double point connection, giving the lats more support. So I took away one of those bands, and now I'm going to use the other one to create that double point connection loop, feeding the tail entirely through. I'm going to end up with two hanging bands and one that spreads across the middle of both tails. I'll step my feet into the bottom of the loop, and then I'm going to place that new band across my upper back, crocheting my arms above, giving me a ton of support for this straddle. This is a great progression to use if you have difficulty lifting your legs and shrugging out of your shoulders to engage the back muscles for your straight arm straddle. And if that's still not enough lat support, as always with these progressions, you can just add more resistance via a thicker band. This next progression helps with straight arm side straddles, and it is a single point connection on both tails using two bands. I'm wrapping my foot around one extra time here to add some extra tension so that the bands don't pop off my feet when I straddle. I'll shrug out of my shoulders and enter into that straight arm straddle with somewhat ease. Just note that because of the way the bands are wound one extra time around the feet, it can make it a little challenging to get that extra pike out of the top. And the final option in this series, which is the more difficult one of all, would be a single point connection on both tails with just one band for lat support. I'm winding it around my wrist 2 times. Notice how I have nothing helping my abs, so my legs are completely on their own here. I'm using that lower pelvic abdomen region to lift my lower body, but I'm really leaning on that band for lat support. And then you can just hook a knee, or you can basic climb wrap down below to release the band off your arm. I hope you got some good info from this video. Please like and subscribe for more.